Defender of Freedom uploading data log for days 131 to 134 of the Galactic War. Hello, Data Archive. It has been a fiery few days of battle as we forge forward with a major order by High Command. We have regained much of our stolen lands, but some peculiar new behavior from the bugs has put the success of this major order at risk. With Terminid populations at unmanageable levels, our current major order remains to regain control of the overpopulation of Terminids by freeing the Miran and Draco sectors. A Helldiver favorite, Astanu in the Draco sector, was of course the first target for liberation following the previous day's rescue on Crimsica. The majority of day 131 was spent with deployments from the Helldivers in the beautiful and tumultuous Astanu. Hardened by countless battles on the cold planet, Helldivers made quick work of the liberation, completing the campaign prior to the end of day 131. The swift liberation of Astanu put us further ahead of pace to complete the major order in time. Helldivers then had two choices: field the burn on Hellmire, or finish securing the Draco sector by liberating 4A Prime. The overwhelming majority of Helldivers chose to liberate 4A Prime first, and this liberation campaign continued into day 132. The battles on 4A Prime were fierce. The rocky planet was infested beyond anything we've seen prior by the relentless Terminids. But no strangers to adversity and actually capable of complex thoughts, Helldivers took advantage of the utter stupidity of the bugs, and the tide of battle began to turn. Our highly advanced Hivebreaker drills have decimated their nurseries, and the pests have responded with massive swarms to protect their nests. But the unwavering resolve of the Helldivers to spread freedom across our galaxy always finds a way, and shortly after 1600 hours on day 132, 4A Prime was liberated. Our progress on the major order continues to trend very well, now ahead of the required pace by 15%. But an intel report was shared by High Command shortly before 4A Prime's liberation. It has been detected that abnormally high levels of interstellar spore emissions have been observed from the Terminid planets currently being liberated. Our scientists have evaluated the situation and suggest that it may be a survival mechanism in response to the destruction of the Terminid nurseries. High Command has, however, not indicated for any changing course of action and verifies that there is no long-term effects related to these spore emissions. And shortly after receiving this dispatch, a completely unrelated outbreak occurred on Esker in the Falstaff sector. Following the orders to show no concern as there would be no long-term effects, Helldivers then turned to the fiery lands of Hellmire following the 4A Prime liberation. Throughout this galactic war, Hellmire has remained a roadblock through the Miran sector due to its harsh temperatures, making maneuverability on the planet especially challenging. But the infamous firestorms of Hellmire truly earn its namesake. The last successful liberation campaign on Hellmire was completed on day 61, over 70 days ago. However, orders were to liberate the planet, and the unmatched obedience and low question count of the Helldivers pushed through the initial resistance on the planet, and by the end of day 132, an initial foothold was obtained. Progress on the liberation trended very well as battles raged on through day 133, until another Terminid attack broke out on 4A Prime. Though many deployed to 4A Prime's defense, the majority remained on Hellmire to first complete the liberation. In order to assist with the Hellmire liberation, flamethrowers were authorized for all loadouts for 24 hours on day 133. These proved to be very effective, and further fueled the dangerous flames on the planet. Our recently improved stratagems were making short work of their largest yet non-thinking threats. The battle for Hellmire was a resounding success. The bugs didn't stand a chance. By 1800 hours on day 134, Hellmire was liberated. But this came at the cost of losing control over Esker, and the defense of 4A Prime was trending poorly. A failed defense of 4A Prime could put the success of the major order in jeopardy, as Helldivers worked very hard to regain control over 4A Prime in the previous day's efforts. Thus Helldivers had the choice to move on to Nimble 43, or reinforce the defense of 4A Prime to not lose any of our hard-earned progress. And of course, to prevent the loss of our prior liberation efforts on 4A Prime, Helldivers then primarily deployed to Nimble 43. Of course, due to High Command indicating that there would be no long-term effects of these Terminid attacks, Helldivers moved on to focus on the liberation of Nibble 43 for the remainder of day 133. and by the morning of day 134, the defense of 4A Prime was lost, reducing liberation of the planet by 50%. Fortunately, our past successes still leave us on pace to be able to complete the major order in time. Within the next 2 hours, there were 2 new attacks on our planets, one on each front. The automatons are attacking into the SAR sector once again, with an invasion on Mort, and a new Terminid outbreak on Gakrux.
The Gakrux system.
Of course, Gakrux, a planet type with very tall trees and heavy rain, has not yet been the setting for battles in this war, and Helldivers are very quick to deploy to its defense, despite the planet not being part of the requirements for the major order. For the remainder of the day, Helldiver forces were split 3 ways between Nibble 43, 4E Prime, and Gakrux.
System.
That's what I was going to say. Fortunately, we are still on pace for the major order, as both 4E Prime and Nibble 43 have enough support to progress independently. However, the defense of Gakrux appears like it may not succeed. This concludes this data log for days 131 to 134 Data Archive. Control over the Terminid sectors continues to hang in the balance. Helldivers must forge onwards to liberate more of the Draco and Mirren sectors. We should expect the liberations of both 4E Prime and Nibble 43 within the next day. The Defender of Freedom will be deploying Helldivers to Nibble 43.